What's going on, everybody? This is BroncoJuggalo, and I am coming at you with a unscheduled, unintended video. My friend Sean Ershcen over at the Horror Corner, he created this morning and sent out his Jason Voorhees tag video, to which he tagged me into. I watched the video while I'm on my lunch break, and I got so excited to do the video, the response tag, I just decided to do it right now. So I'm doing the video on my lunch break, but I may not get a chance to post it until later tonight because I do want to do some editing and I want to add some cards to acknowledge some people, Sean and the people I'm going to tag in. So with that being said, let's jump right into these questions, guys. And I've got my handy dandy little pad here. I'm going to be reading the questions off and then I will be giving you my answers. Question number 1. If there was never a sequel to the original Friday the 13th movie, would it still be a classic? I'm going to go with yes, and that is 100% on two things. Betsy Palmer's performance as Pamela Voorhees, it's absolutely amazing. I absolutely adore it. I watched this movie last night, actually, to prepare for my upcoming Friday the 13th review. So I'm not going to go huge into a lot of things, but yes, I think it still would be a classic. I do have a lot of issues with the original, but Betsy Palmer, she completely kills that movie and that role. She's awesome. And the other thing is Tom Savini's work on the special effects and the kills. It's just masterful. I absolutely love it. Those two things I think would definitely keep this film a classic no matter what. Okay guys, sorry if you hear a little background noise. I decided to start my vehicle up because I had the windows down, but it was just getting too hot and I need the air conditioner on. So if you hear a little background noise, it's because I've got the air conditioner running and the truck running. So sorry about that. Question number 2. What is your favorite Friday the 13th film? Mine is part 6, Jason Lives. At least it is right now. I sometimes pull a dum-dums and I flip-flop a little bit on my favorites. And I have one other movie that's right there up there with this one. But right now my favorite is part 6. I absolutely love that film. I love the way Jason gets resurrected. I really like Tom Mathis as Tommy Jarvis. Question number 3. What is your least favorite Friday the 13th movie? That's definitely an easy one for me, but there are quite a few to pick from in this series. And I know what a lot of people are thinking and what a lot of people consider like their worst in this series. Two of the films that a lot of people put at the bottom, I put at the top. 2 films in this series I absolutely love that a lot of people don't think are so good. And they're in my top of this series, even over the original, which you'll find out that later when I do my complete ranking of this series. But the absolute worst movie in this series to me is Jason Goes to Hell. That movie is just so fucked up in every situation. I don't like Jason in it. I don't like the storyline. It's hard to tell what's even going on half the time. I don't like the idea of Jason possessing different people and hopping through and being a little slug. It was just very weird, and the only good part of that film is when Freddy's hand comes up, grabs his mask, and pulls it down to hell. That's the best part of that film, the only good part of that film. Question number 4. Who is your favorite final girl? The Friday the 13th series is, to me, notorious for having terrible final girls. I can't stand Alice in the original. I think she's a terrible final girl. I don't like her at all. She is so boring and so dull. And I'm going to get more into that in my review. So, that being said, I don't think this is a cheat because it is part of the franchise. My favorite final girl is Monica Keenum from Freddy vs. Jason as Laurie. She was really good in that film. I really enjoy her a lot. Question number 5. What is your favorite kill in the franchise? I'm going to cheat here a little bit, Sean. I'm sorry, but I'm going to go with 2 different kills. My number 1 probably would be the liquid nitrogen kill in Jason X. I absolutely love that kill. It's so awesome. But I use that as well in my sci-fi horror tag, so I don't want to really use that as well. Or use that, I don't want to use that again. So I'm actually going to go with a kill from the remake. I absolutely love it. At the very beginning of the movie, when the girl is in the sleeping bag, and he gets her inside the sleeping bag, he strings her up over the fire and he cooks her to death. And I absolutely love that. I thought it was so brutal. It was Jason being absolutely brutal, taken to the next level, which I'm going to get into in the next question. Question number 6. Who is your favorite Jason actor? Mine is probably something that a lot of people aren't going to like, but I don't care. Derek Mears from the remake. Best Jason, period. Derek Mears was the absolute greatest Jason. That man is big, fast, non-lumbering, and just so brutal. That character, his Jason was brutal. And that's how I like Jason. That remake Jason is the perfect Jason. I hope to God he plays Jason again, and whatever they do next, please let him be Jason. And I think he'll get a lot more props when he gets a couple more films under his belt as the character. A lot of people, I don't think, give him the dues he deserves. Question number 7. Were you happy with the events of Part 5? And what would you have done differently? Okay, first off, let me just say, I like Part 5. It's an entertaining film for me. It's got its good points. I mean, it's a bad movie. Don't get me wrong. It's not a good film. But I enjoy Part 5. I get entertainment out of it. But with that being said, honestly, I really wasn't happy with what they did. I don't like the fact that Jason wasn't the killer. But with Part 6 being my favorite film, I don't see how they could have changed it to do anything different. I don't like the idea of Tommy Jarvis being the killer. That just bothers me. I don't like that idea. I think, honestly, I would have just scrapped the complete film. I just would have scrapped the film. As much as enjoyment as I actually do get out of that movie, and I do get some enjoyment out of it, I would have scrapped the movie because I love what they did in Part 6 so much, I don't want to see that changed. So if they did something different in Part 5, they would have to change Part 6, and I like the way Part 6 is. So me, I just would have scrapped that film, and Jason coming back after Part 4 would have been Part 6, and that would have been Part 5 instead. But that's just what I would have done. Alright guys, the last question. Do you think that the next Friday the 13th film should be a remake of the 1980 original, a sequel to the 2009 remake, or a completely new sequel or story? I'm very happy with the remake. I like the remake a lot. I'm not going to tell you about that, where I put it in my ranking. You're going to have to wait for that. But I like the remake, and I think that we need a sequel to that remake. I don't know why we haven't got one yet. We really need a sequel. The thing about the remake for me is this. If you just watch that movie, it actually could just be another sequel. Yes, I know people talk about how they added the elements from the first 4 films. Yes, they did. But they didn't do it in such a way to where it ignored those movies. You could just count the remake as a sequel. It works. It does work that way. I don't see why more people don't think that, because it does work that way. So I just would like to see another sequel. I would like to see another sequel to the 2009 remake, because that can just continue on the main storyline for all I care. That's all it is to me. That remake wasn't really a remake. It might as well have been a sequel. And a much better sequel than most of the others. Now, we did get a Jason film after the remake. It came out recently. It's only available on YouTube unless you contributed to their Kickstarter to get yourself a physical copy, which I did. Yay! Never Hike Alone. If you have not seen Never Hike Alone, you need to see this movie. If you call yourself a Friday the 13th fan, if you call yourself a horror movie fan, you need to see Never Hike Alone. It is available on YouTube for free. It is 53 minutes long. It is a fan-made film, and it is better than at least 4 of the sequels. This movie should be in this series legitimately. They can't call it Friday the 13th because it's not under license with the company. But it is a badass film, and I will give that film props every chance I get. In fact, I'm going to put the link to it down in the description below. So if you get a chance, go check that out. It is 53 minutes of your time that you will know is very well spent, and you will come back and you will thank me for sending you over to check it out. Check it out. It's called Never Hike Alone. I promise you, if you like Jason, you will like this movie. Okay guys, so that is it for my answers to the Jason Voorhees tag created by Sean Ershcen at the Horror Corner, as he says it. Well, my voice may be a little bit deeper than his, but I love the way you say that, Sean. You're awesome. I'm going to tag in a couple people now. Sean actually took a couple of people I wanted to tag, so I'm going to go a little farther afield. I'm going to tag in somebody who recently just started following my channel, and I started following hers. The Movie Oracle. I believe that's how you say her channel. If not, ma'am, I am very sorry. I apologize, and I will make sure that the link and everything is properly done. So yes, The Movie Oracle, I'm going to tag you in, and I'm going to tag in The Last Shoegazer. You guys are up. You guys are next. You're it.